Nobody wants President Newsom either. Nobody believes in that guy. That guy's a f***ing con man. Everything he did in California, from trying to mandate vaccines for kids to being caught public without a mask and lying about the fact that he was outdoors.
Yeah.
Nobody believes in that guy. He's just a politician.
The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy.
Gavin Newsom's PR machine is in full-blown crisis mode, and they should be. Their golden boy just got blindsided by none other than Bill Maher. Maher didn't mean to drop the hammer, but the truth slipped out, and it hit hard. Suddenly, the shine is gone. People are finally seeing Newsom for what he really is. Not a bold leader, but a well-dressed scam artist with a slick script. And the fallout? It's going viral. Joe Rogan just unleashed on him, torching Newsom for turning California into a dystopian disaster zone. The footage is ruthless. The takes are unforgiving. And the illusion, it just shattered. Subscribe now, because this isn't just a media hit. It's the start of something unraveling.
I was on KBLA yesterday, with my friend Tavis Smiley. I'm an investor and a supporter of that station. And he said, who do you want to run for president? I mentioned, I think you'd be good at the job. Not this year, we know. No, I know. But he said, I don't think he could win. I don't think he could win. He's too progressive coming from this state and what he's done in this state to win in any southern state, any red state. I disagreed, but this is a progressive African-American owned station, and I'm sure they like you, but doesn't think you can win. What do you say to that if you could win look at the swing state, there's only 8 of them.
This is the moment the mask slipped. The clip that sent Gavin Newsom's inner circle into full-blown panic mode. Bill Maher didn't plan on detonating a political truth bomb, but when he casually hinted that maybe Newsom isn't the golden boy the media keeps selling us, boom. The whole facade started crumbling. Sure, Maher still dances around the idea of Newsom as a future president, but let's cut the act. Most Americans aren't buying it anymore. They see what's behind the slick haircut and smug grin, a radical ideologue completely out of touch with reality. This is the same guy who forced gender-neutral toy aisles into law and supported legislation that lets teachers hide a child's gender transition from their own parents. That's not leadership. That's extremism wrapped in progressive packaging. And now, with Maher cracking the narrative and Joe Rogan torching the wreckage, the whole Newsom myth is collapsing, live, brutal, and unfiltered.
Nobody wants President Newsom either. Nobody believes in that guy. That guy's a f***ing con man. Everything he did in California, from trying to mandate vaccines for kids to being caught public without a mask and lying about the fact that he was outdoors.
Yeah.
Nobody believes in that guy. He's just a politician. Just a stone-cold, narrative-driven politician. Nobody thinks he's a real human. Whether you like Trump or not, whether you think he's corrupt or not, that's a human being. You know what that guy is. Same thing with RFK Jr. Whether you believe that he's correct about vaccines or whether you believe his policies would be effective, and that's a human being. With Newsom, you got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want president.
By the time Joe Rogan lit up Gavin Newsom on his podcast, the unraveling had already begun. Newsom's trademark smugness, nowhere to be found. What we got instead was a flailing politician clinging to damage control like a lifeline. Bill Maher may have tipped the first domino, but Rogan came in with a wrecking ball. When Maher and Rogan, two cultural juggernauts from opposite ends of the spectrum, start landing hits in sync, that's not just a PR nightmare. That's a political implosion. Newsom tried to save face with frantic pressers and fake outrage, but the desperation was thick. And the public, they weren't fooled. They could smell the fear, and it stinks of a narrative falling apart.
Where's your decency, Mr. President? Stop. Rescind this order. It's illegal and unconstitutional. And I said it, I'll say it again, it's immoral. You're creating the conditions that you claim you're solving, and you're not. And you're putting real people's lives at risk. This is a serious moment, and it requires serious leadership. And it's time for you to be a commander-in-chief of the United States of America. And I will have your back if you want to work in a relationship of trust and truth in the spirit of our founding fathers. But you come after poor kids, you come after families, we will do everything in our power to stand up and stand in your way.
When real chaos hit, Gavin Newsom did what he does best: duck, deflect, and blame someone else. After violence broke out during ICE protests in California, he didn't step up with leadership. He didn't offer real solutions. Instead, he grabbed MIC and, right on cue, pointed the finger at Trump. The truth? ICE wasn't running wild. They were targeting cartel-linked criminals. But Newsom twisted it into yet another round of political theater, full of fake outrage and media smokescreens. Did California get peace? No. Did it get answers? Not even close. What it got was another polished monologue from its overpaid actor-in-chief, starring in a never-ending performance no one asked for.
Get your hands off these poor people. They're just trying to live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes, been here 10 years. The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
You could smell the desperation from a mile away. Gavin Newsom fell back on the oldest trick in the political playbook: emotional blackmail. When the facts stopped working, he cranked up the theatrics: shaky voice, dramatic pauses, empty threats. T1 point. He even challenged ICE director Tom Homan to arrest him. Not because he meant it, but because he knew it made for good headlines. There was no real risk, just another spotlight moment for a governor addicted to applause. But this time, the crowd wasn't cheering. They were wincing. The act is getting old, and everyone can see through it.
Then the reporter asked me, well, could Governor Newsom or Mayor Bass be arrested? I said, well, no one's above the law. If they cross the line and commit a crime, absolutely they can. So there was no discussion about arresting Newsom. And so, you know, what he's done, he's failed that state. He waited 2 days of that city burning and people getting hurt, officers being assaulted before he made any declaration of an unlawful assembly. He's late to the game. President Trump isn't late to the game.
Tom Homan wasn't fooled by the act, and he didn't hold back. In one brutal line, he cut through the noise. If you want to be arrested, do something illegal. No theatrics, just facts. Then he went in harder, slamming Newsom for vanishing while LA spiraled into chaos. 2 full days of silence. No leadership, no orders, just radio silence while the city burned. And when Trump stepped in with the National Guard to restore order, Newsom had the audacity to complain he wasn't consulted. Leadership. Give me a break. This guy couldn't lead a field trip, let alone the most populated state in the country.
I keep hearing this term ICE raids, ICE raids. What happened with how this riot started is that ICE was serving a series of criminal warrants at a business being investigated for money laundering, customs fraud, and serious violations on sending money to criminal cartels that in Colombia and Mexico that fund criminal cartel activities in the United States. It's part of an overall conspiracy that ICE is investigating. So we're arresting bad people. We were enforcing laws and following up on a serious criminal investigation on cartel financing. So that's exactly what ICE did. And ICE took a lot of bad people off the street that day. We arrested a sexual predator, arrested gang members, arrested somebody that had an armed robbery conviction.
Let's get one thing straight. ICE wasn't out snatching kids off swing sets. They were going after real criminals, cartel thugs, human traffickers, financial fraudsters. But Gavin Newsom didn't let facts get in the way. He twisted the truth into a tear-jerking headline and handed it to the media on a silver platter. Suddenly, ICE were the bad guys, and the actual crimes? Swept under the rug. This wasn't justice, it was pure political propaganda, but Tom Homan wasn't having it. He called out the lies, loud and clear, and just like that, Newsom was on the ropes, scrambling to spin his way out.
He's dictating what universities themselves can teach. He's targeting law firms and the judicial branch that are the foundations of an orderly and civil society. He's calling for a sitting governor to be arrested for no other reason than to, in his own words, for getting elected. And we all know this Saturday, he's ordering our American heroes, the United States military, and forcing them to put on a vulgar display to celebrate his birthday, just as other failed dictators have done in the past. Look, this isn't just about protests here in Los Angeles. When Donald Trump sought blanket authority to commandeer the National Guard, he made that order apply to every state in this nation. This is about all of us.
Even after getting exposed, Newsom just couldn't let go of the performance. There he was, again, on camera, voice quivering, eyes glassy, pleading with other governors to join his anti-Trump crusade. This wasn't leadership. It was political cosplay. A full-blown audition for Most Dramatic Politician of the Year. The facts? Ignored. Real solutions? Missing in action. All we got was another round of rehearsed emotion and carefully staged theatrics. The real tragedy? While California cried out for action, all Newsom delivered was another scene from his never-ending one-man show.
I know many of you are feeling deep anxiety, stress, and fear, but I want you to know that you are the antidote to that fear and that anxiety. What Donald Trump wants most is your fealty, your silence to be complicit in this moment. Do not give in.
And just like that, Gavin Newsom's house of cards came crashing down. Maher cracked the illusion. Rogan lit it on fire. Homan smashed it to pieces. What's left standing? Nothing but a hollow showman playing dress-up as a leader. The crocodile tears, the camera-ready speeches, the endless pandering, they don't work anymore. People are done with the act. Instead of confronting real problems, Newsom catered to extremists and spun lies just to stay trending. His mission? Control the narrative. The outcome? Full-blown political exposure. California didn't get a governor. It got a crisis actor. And now, the spotlight's off, and the curtain just dropped.